if you're worried about Gareth Evans not making anything, Timo Tjahjanto is out there making more than he should be in a way.
Satu, dua, tiga. Kalau kita masuk, mimpi Bapak hancur berantakan. Jangan semuanya, habisi mereka!
What's up, YouTube? Jabba Movies here, and you're watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaise.
And today we're checking out the recent film from Netflix, Timo Tjahjanto's The Big Four.
The Big Four tells the story of an elite assassin that is targeted by murderous gangsters after sparing a girl's life during a massacre. I think there's a lot more to the story than that, to be honest. That's only like the first 5 minutes, I feel like, to be honest, or 25 minutes maybe. But yeah, there's a lot more going on. I think the little synopsis doesn't even talk about the Big Four at all. It just talks about one guy. So that synopsis is cash. But yeah, anyways, The Big Four is Timo Tjahjanto's new movie. It's a Netflix original film. I think his last couple movies have all been Netflix originals, so it seems like he has a contract going there. The last film I did check out of his was is it The Night Comes for Us?
Yes, starring a lead actor from The Raid as the villain, I believe, in that movie.
Yeah, that sounds like a Last of Us spinoff, thinking about it now, or something. But yeah, anyways, The Night Comes for Us was like a very violent, disturbing action movie, kind of done in the style of The Raid, where Timo Tjahjanto takes a new spin on his authorship with The Big Four. James, what'd you think of this movie?
Yeah, so I definitely went into this movie expecting one movie. I thought it was Timo Tjahjanto trying to make a more mainstream, family-friendly movie for Netflix. Because if you look at the poster, it's a bunch of teenagers holding guns. I was like, oh, this is going to be like all those kid movies where they're always fighting and shooting around and it's for fun. Like, I was expecting maybe not like Kids versus Aliens, a movie we just saw recently by Jason Eisner. That was a very violent rated R movie. I Declare War is the name of the movie. I was expecting that kind of out of this just from looking at the poster. I really just should have expected a Timo Tjahjanto movie out of it, because that's what I got for the most part. 2.5 hour movie that needs to be cut down, but still entertaining as hell. Like, it's nothing groundbreaking, and I wouldn't say it's like one of my top movies by him. However, Timo Tjahjanto is, I think, one of the most fun filmmakers to watch these days, especially because a lot of us crave movies from Gareth Evans, but he's not making them or putting them out at a fast rate at all whatsoever, especially because he's been working for the last like few years for 2 seasons on a show. I know about like English Gangsters. But Timo Tjahjanto kind of fills that void, but just he's that filmmaker that not as many people know about, but don't realize. Like, when I think Gareth Evans, you might think, of course, of The Raid, but I also think of his segment in VHS Part 2, one of the best segments we ever got, but that was a collaboration with Timo Tjahjanto. And Timo Tjahjanto is a filmmaker I want to keep looking out to, and this is a movie that I wanted to watch because I know he's finally going to make it into mainstream audiences in the next couple of years. But yeah, it's a fun movie. What are your initial thoughts, though?
So my initial thoughts, I thought this movie, I thought it had like a couple things going on. It was definitely trying to juggle a couple plates. I have to say, like, just off the bat, that I loved The Night Comes for Us. That movie was like brutal, just insane. I thought the action choreography, everything was crazy in that movie, and that movie really made me excited to maybe check out the future stuff that he did. I think I probably missed like 4 films because he makes a lot of stuff. So that's the thing, is like, I think I've honestly missed 4 or 5 Netflix originals in between The Night Comes for Us and this film. I know that he's had probably like a film a year, so that's at least a good thing. Is his, if you're worried about Gareth Evans not making anything, Timo Tjahjanto's out there making more than he should be in a way.
Yeah, he has a movie every year, honestly, it seems like.
So getting to that, basically this is a film where I felt like the runtime, first of all, you're getting a minus point from me just automatically from the runtime. And I would say that the film didn't captivate me enough for the total of the runtime. I thought a lot of the action choreography and was almost like sometimes it took a hit when the CGI was like over the top, like CGI, and I'm not talking Stallone's over the top, but it was just over the top CGI, and at times the CGI was like, I don't know if it was purposefully bad. I don't know if this is a Flash situation, but the CGI was literally RRR levels of bad multiple times throughout the movie, I felt like. And it's weird because I felt like Night Comes for Us, and I know Timo Tjahjanto and Gareth Evans have always utilized CGI blood effects, CGI effects, and they've always like touted that CGI effects are okay if you need to do that to get the story done. You know, and they do still use practical effects. So it's not like this film only has CGI and no practical effects. There's tons of great practical effects in this film that are gore heavy. Like you said, this isn't a family friendly movie. But yeah, it's just there was elements there that I felt like you could have dialed back a little bit on the CGI. I'm not sure if maybe I missed that tone. But yeah, this movie felt like it's going for something that I don't think it quite hit the mark. Like maybe it's going to, you know, kind of not necessarily parody, but homage maybe some of like those 80s style action, buddy action movies. But I don't feel like it ever hit the mark with those.
Yeah, so I guess like overall my biggest gripe with the movie, while I did have fun with it and still enjoyed it, was the fact that it was like kind of a mixture of just like a bunch of genres, but just like kind of dumbed down version of it. And that sounds harsh. Like, I don't mean to, that's just the word that's coming out of my mouth right now to kind of describe it, because yeah, like you said, it does have that buddy cop kind of feel, but just feels a little bit more like, I hate to say like lower budget feel to it, but as well as like it has the grittiness that we saw in The Night Comes for Us. I guess this one's just a little bit more lightheaded with the comedic aspects versus that movie just all guts and brooding and brutality, revenge. So like all that action with brutalness is there, but just there's a fun element to it where it doesn't feel as nasty, I guess. But that just like makes it the stakes not feel as high, despite the stakes still being very high within this movie, I'd say.
Definitely. Yeah, I do feel like there was something about this that maybe they were trying. I think they were trying to go for like an 80s cheesy style movie, but it just didn't align right for me. I don't know if maybe it was also just the language barrier where some of those jokes didn't really maybe hit as much. But I didn't get the vibe, especially, I mean, dude, if you're doing 80s action movie, like style movie, like none of the stars in this movie are juiced up. I mean, I'm glad no one was hurt, you know, in the making in that sense, you know?
Yeah.
There's no steroids being passed around set. But if you're going to make that 80s homage movie, we're going to need some big muscles on screen. I felt like everyone here, I was like, I could probably do that in a year or something.
It didn't help also that you watched Over the Top like the day before where you saw a bunch of muscles. Yeah.
I think, yeah, true. I did watch Over the Top yesterday. So, that didn't help, and that's definitely like kind of what I thought maybe that they were trying to go. I mean, maybe I'm just thinking about it, but I do feel like they were trying to go for a more canon-y films type of movie. I mean, also like you could tell clearly the film's like influenced by like the A-Team and stuff, but I still never got those references beyond like the Big Four and the fact that they're this team that's teaming up and they're these assassins. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just felt like the film overall is very cartoony, but usually I feel like I'd like some of those elements, but it was hard to weigh the fact that it's kind of seems like it's trying to be family friendly, but yeah, it is a super gory Timo Tjahjanto movie.
Yeah, like at least he made it his own overall, but just I guess also another thing is I'm just tired of assassin movies. I always like the concept and idea of assassination movies or assassin based movies, but even John Wick, while I wouldn't necessarily call those assassin movies, they deal with assassins and they send assassins to get him. But overall, he's just an ex-assassin trying to clear his name and get revenge within the first movie. And then, you know what goes down in the sequels, blah, 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 blah. Then also movies like Nobody. And we also got Netflix's The Gray Man, which also dealt with like assassins for the most part. It's just like getting a lot of these style movies, and there's enough reason to have action movies like this without it having to be an assassin. I need to rewatch The Night Comes for Us to remember it, but there's also so many other Timo Tjahjanto movies I'd rather check out. I'm looking at his letterbox right now. I've only seen 4 of his 18 movies, and I really want to see Headshot, Killers, Macabre, his 2 movies that he did for Shudder called May the Devil Take You, as well as the sequel to that. Like these are all movies that like I want to see, but they're all 2.5 hours long, and I wanted to check out this one because it's a new one, but also it's 2.5 hours long. I just haven't gotten around to it, but I know within the next couple of years it's going to become popular because I'm really looking. I don't like the idea of a remake of Train to Busan, but you know, if anyone's going to do it, it's James Wan producing and Timo Tjahjanto's directing it. I feel like that's a great duo to handle a movie like that. It's going to be called Last Train to New York. Of course, like I know it's going to get a lot of flack for being a remake of Train to Busan, but you know, his name's going to be known when that movie comes out. So like, I really want to check out all his older movies. And just sucks because I started out with The Night Comes for Us after VHS 2. And then like this one is fun, but it's just not on that same level.
I think overall, when I was watching this movie, that's what I was thinking. I was like, dude, I think he's already gone past the Indonesian film level. Like he's at the apex where now that he's making movies, like in the beginning, he was making movies look like they had a huge budget being filmed in Indonesia. And now he's making movies with a huge budget for Indonesia somehow look cheap. So he's already leveled up enough. He's graduated. He needs to make international movie or an American English language movie in a way. I feel like now is the time. So I kind of forgot about that Last Train to New York movie. I honestly thought James Wan was directing it. So I forgot about that. I'm glad that you reminded me of that. And I think that is the next stage in his career. I think he has a huge, bright future, but I think making these films that are specifically for Indonesia, I think that's been done already in his career. You said he's made 18 movies already in Indonesia. I think he needs to move on to greener pastures because there's a much larger world of international movies that are waiting for him.
Right, yeah, and because I think his stuff translates well. I remember I was at a film festival screening for VHS 94, and he wasn't even there, and all the questions were about his film. And I remember Simon Barrett, the writer of You're Next and Blair Witch and The Guest, he was there, and he was kind of hosting it and was the main person who was talking. And I remember he just like kept saying, yo, Timo is not here, guys. You guys, there's other directors here that want to answer your questions. And I felt bad because Chloe Acuna was there, and then yeah, of course Simon Barrett was there, and then as well as the director of I forget the name of the Luchador movie, but I mean that's off topic for VHS 94, which we've also talked about. But
Low
yeah,
Life?
I mean, I guess Low Life, yes. But yeah, like Timo is a very talented director. It shows here, maybe not so much in the I was gonna say After Effects, but the visual effects department. But that's more in the post-production element and stuff, and can sometimes go beyond the director's control, but still a director I'm going to keep a lookout, and I still need to watch all his old stuff like I mentioned. But let us know in the comments what are the movies to start with, because I really want to know, and let us know what you thought about this movie, because a great way to help support the show is by telling us what you thought down below in the comments.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all latest updates.
If you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own Letterboxd accounts. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.